You include them in your 4 down, but you put them in all these various places. So I'm going to go through, right? So the first thing, and we know that the 3-3 is all a craze now, right? But um, maybe you want to maybe you want to look like you're in 3-3, but you're really not, you know. So you put him in the middle there. You see, that's our Leo right there in the middle of that 3-3 stack. But what you do is you give him simple reads. You're not like you're taking a D lineman or a guy who is not maybe linebacker savvy, and you're just putting him in the middle there, and you're telling him to read the guard to the back. You know what I mean? That's or away from the back. Like each team will have tells like where they who which guard is the one who pulls the most, right? So you can stick this guy in the middle and you can say, hey, just read this guard or that guard, and you just go with the flow. So now he looks like he's making a great play and a great read, but really he's just looking at the guard pull and running through. You know, and you've just created a whole different front without having to do much. I like to get these from the back angle. Yeah. And again, is this the 0-2-4-I, bearish kind of front that you see that's kind of hot now in college football and some of the NFL? Well, it's really not, Chris. You know what I mean? We're a 4 down front, but all you've done is pick a guy up and you saw maybe it's 2 5s or it's 2 4-Is, and you take the linebackers and you widen them out, and now you got a whole different animal for them to block, but you haven't done anything really with your coverage, or you haven't changed the scheme. Like I said, all you've done is put that guy in the middle and taught him who to key, you're right, one guard or the other, and then just go with the flow and scrape tight, and there you go. You know, high school guys, I mean, the guy I had at Oklahoma State, wrestler, right? You guys all have the wrestlers out there, the tough ass wrestling kid. That's great for this position because they just go in there and they submarine people and they make tackles. Yeah, so you can see that movement, right? You see the movement, Chris, kind of like we're doing, we're really like a 4 down now. Now guys kind of picked up and he's moved. I like to, if we're in 4 down, I like to make him the boundary end, and if we're in 3 down, then he's kind of floating around. But it's kind of simple if he's the boundary end, and now he floats in, and you can see with no pulls here, right? He's just trying to fit the A gap off the nose guard. That's all. I mean, keep it as simple as you can for the guy, as simple as you can, but you've created a whole new front to block.
So when you're building your front around that, because you said, at Ohio State, you're a 4 down team. You haven't really messed with this stuff yet. But when you were at
A little
Oklahoma,
bit. I mean, we've done a little bit of it. I haven't cut it up yet, but you could find some of it.
right? Okay, so when you were at Oklahoma State, when you were building your defense, and you're like, okay, we're a 4 down team. How much planning when you were going into this was like, okay, we need to make sure our three, because if you're going boundary and you're shoving the front into the boundary, when you're picking where you want to play guys in the off season, you're saying, okay, our 3 technique needs to also be able to rush off the edge. I mean, how important is that, or is it kind of like, is this a secondary thing where you're like,
No,
all
I
right,
mean, I think, Chris, it can become as important as you want it to be. By the time, and again, I was at Oklahoma State 4 years, and by the time I left, we had one of the best defenses in the country. But by the time I got into, after year 2, you're right. Now we're telling our 3 technique recruits that we're saying, hey, look, you're going to easily be a 5 technique some of the times. You know what I mean? So that to me, that opens up recruiting, because all those 3 techniques like to be 5. They like to rush off the edge every now and then. So yeah, we were talking that way to them by the time year 2 rolled around, after year 2 in that cycle.
now
Yeah.
I know you're at the highest level of football, and we don't want to give any state secrets away.
Right.
That's I'm number one rule when coaches come on here, protect the coach. But
Right.
how do you and I think I've seen a presentation that you've done when you've been talking something similar where you were talking about packaging the call. So how does the Leo in this know to be the stack backer? Like how did I know these different alignments? Are there different families of fronts where you're like,
Yes.
okay,
Yes. Yeah, you're exactly right, Chris. Yeah, we put
a
it
fruit means he's stacked, or
exactly. Yeah,
okay.
something of that nature, right? A fruit means he's part of the stack package, and a color means he's part of the 4-down front. You know what I mean? You can do it that way, and in that regard, really have the same coverage behind it, but you could get two completely different looking fronts.
So let's go with this here then. So okay, let's just say fruits. I hope it's not fruits. If it is, we could make something
No, right.
else.
Go ahead.
I'm
Keep
just
going with
guessing
it.
here.
Keep going, Chris. Yeah.
So it's a fruit. You're saying, okay, apple means you're the A gap linebacker. Banana means you're the boundary stack, and then God help me out here.
No, you're right. Banana
A
could
fruit
mean
with
you're
an
the
F would
boundary.
be the field side stack backer. Is that how it
Yes.
kind of
Yeah,
works? Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
You're onto it. Absolutely.
So there's
And
families.
yeah, family of families of calls, right? And that so that he knows where to go and the other guys know where to go. And it does create a lot. I mean, you watch this right here. I mean, you put him in the middle, right? Again, your coverage has not changed, right? I mean, he could easily be rushing off the edge, to the boundary, and your coverage would not change. Now, the position, this guy's position, or these are your two backers right here, right? Their position is going to adjust, I mean, but you could take this guy and walk him up here, and then this backer would slide inside, and you could take this guy and make him a normal 5 technique, and this backer would slide inside. But you see how easy it is, right? I mean, it's just their alignment changes, but Paul's still the same.
But in theory, the guy that's aligned in the middle right now is the only guy moving. The other two backers you clicked, they're moving, but they're not going to be a guy up on the line coming up. Like
That's right.
It's only one guy that's adjusting, right?
That's right. In your base, right? They'll blitz. We'll get it. Well, we get into
Right.
blitz,
Right.
but we're
Right.
talking about in your base. Yeah. And then you take